The Council's mistake. The Grand Archive of the Galactic Assembly hummed with the quiet tension of 200 different species trying very hard not to panic. Representative VYX of the Crystalline Collective watched the holographic display with growing horror as it showed yet another human achievement, their first successful antimatter containment vessel. They did this in under 3 centuries after achieving spaceflight. VYX's crystalline form vibrated with distress, sending rainbow refractions across the chamber walls. The projections suggested it would take at least a millennium. High Chancellor Zenare, an ancient being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical shell, moved forward to address the emergency session. The humans' observer fleet had documented everything: their rapid industrialization, their aggressive exploration of their solar system, and most worryingly, their seemingly instinctual drive to push every boundary they encountered. "They've already colonized their moon," reported Ambassador Cluex, their tentacles writhing in agitation. "They're terraforming their red neighbor planet, and they've launched probes to every corner of their system. At this rate, they'll achieve viable faster-than-light travel within decades, not centuries as we'd hoped." The assembled representatives erupted in a cacophony of worried clicks, hums, and telepathic broadcasts. Humanity's rapid advancement wasn't just unexpected, it was unprecedented. Most species took thousands of years to progress from basic spaceflight to antimatter containment. The humans had done it before most of their population had even left their home planet. "There's more," Cluex continued, their voice modulator barely containing their stress. "They're doing this while still fighting among themselves, dealing with climate disasters, and surviving regular natural catastrophes. They don't even have a unified planetary government, yet they're achieving technological breakthroughs that took most of our species' centuries of focused, cooperative effort." High Chancellor Zenare's mechanical shell hummed thoughtfully. "Perhaps most concerning is their response to obstacles. When faced with limitations, they don't accept them, they seem to take them as personal challenges. Their entire history is a catalogue of overcoming what they were told was impossible." The holographic display shifted to show human cities rising from deserts, floating on oceans, and clinging to mountainsides. It showed their vessels diving to crushing depths and soaring through radiation-filled space. Each image was a testament to their relentless drive to expand, explore, and conquer. "We cannot allow them to join the greater galactic community," declared Representative VYX. "Their advancement rate is too unpredictable, too dangerous. They would destabilize millennia of carefully maintained balance among our species." "Agreed," hummed Zenare, "but direct intervention is forbidden by our own laws. We cannot simply restrict a species' natural development." A new voice cut through the chamber, belonging to Science Director Mira X of the Quantum Collective. Their holographic form shimmered with excitement. "I believe I have a solution. We've recently discovered a planet in the Outer Rim, Glacius Prime. It's a Class 13 ice world with temperatures averaging -200 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere is thick with metallic snow, and the ice sheets are dozens of kilometers deep." "And," prompted Zenare. "And it's rich in resources that humans would find irresistible. We could offer it to them as a gift, a recognition of their achievement. The conditions are so harsh that merely surviving will consume all their energy and resources. It will effectively halt their technological advancement while allowing us to maintain our non-intervention principles." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. It was elegant in its simplicity: offer humans a challenge they couldn't resist, on a world so hostile it would keep them permanently occupied just trying to survive. "The motion is proposed," announced Zenare. "We offer humanity the exclusive rights to colonize Glacius Prime, presenting it as a reward for their rapid advancement." The vote was unanimous. Within days, the Assembly's most skilled diplomats were dispatched to Earth, bearing news of humanity's reward for their impressive achievements. They arrived in their most impressive ships, made their most grandiose speeches, and presented elaborate documents granting humanity exclusive rights to what they called a jewel of the Outer Rim. Not a single member of the Assembly noticed the glint in the human diplomats' eyes when they saw the first images of their new world. No one caught the excited whispers among their scientists when they received the preliminary planetary data. And certainly, no one recognized the look that passed between the human representatives, the same look their ancestors had worn when they first saw mountains and thought, I can climb that, when they first saw oceans and thought, I can cross that, when they first saw the stars and thought, I can reach that. The assembly had made a crucial mistake. They had just given humanity exactly what it loved most, an impossible challenge. The human acceptance ceremony was brief and formal. As their representatives signed the treaties, Chief Ambassador Sarah Chen maintained a carefully neutral expression, even as she thought of the message she would soon send back to Earth. They gave us a death world. They think it's a prison. Let's show them how humans handle presence. The Assembly's representatives departed satisfied, certain they had cleverly contained humanity's troublesome expansion. Behind them, humanity began to plan, and if anyone had been watching closely, they might have noticed that they were smiling. They had no idea what they had just started. Frozen dreams. The colony ship Endurance emerged from hyperspace like a whale breaching through ice, its massive hull gleaming under the distant light of Glacius Prime's blue-white star. In the observation deck, Colony Director Maya Torres watched their new home grow larger in the view screen, its surface a swirling maze of steel-gray clouds and crystalline white. Atmospheric composition analysis complete, announced Dr. James Wong, chief scientist of the expedition. It's even worse than we thought. The upper atmosphere is filled with metallic snow, literally microscopic shards of flash-frozen metal. The lower atmosphere is a soup of nitrogen-methane compounds. Temperature at the surface is negative 230 degrees Celsius. Maya smiled. Perfect. The Endurance wasn't alone. Behind it came 5 more colony ships, each carrying thousands of volunteers who had jumped at the chance to attempt the impossible. These weren't just random colonists, they were the descendants of Antarctic researchers, deep-sea engineers, high-altitude mountaineers, and anyone else who had experience laughing in the face of hostile environments. Incoming data from the surface probes, reported Navigation Officer Yuki Tanaka. The ice sheets are over 50 kilometers deep in some places. But here's the interesting part, we're detecting regular geometric patterns in the ice structure. This isn't natural formation. Maya leaned forward, her eyes bright with interest. Someone was here before us. Or something. The first landing was less of a descent and more of a controlled collision with destiny. The Endurance and its sister ships used their plasma shields to melt through the metallic snowstorm, leaving trails of artificial auroras in their wake. They touched down on a relatively flat expanse of ice, their landing struts deploying impact-absorbing gel that instantly froze into support structures. The first human to step onto Glacius Prime was Dr. Elena Rodriguez, wearing an environment suit that looked like a cross between a deep-sea diving outfit and a space suit. The moment her boot touched the ice, her suit's external sensors went wild. The surface isn't just ice, she reported back, her voice tight with excitement. It's some kind of crystalline matrix. The entire planet is structured like a giant semiconductor. Within hours, the initial survey teams made their first major discovery. The metallic snow wasn't just frozen precipitation, it was a complex network of naturally occurring superconducting particles. The eternal storm that raged in the upper atmosphere was actually a planetary-scale electromagnetic field generator. They didn't give us a prison, Dr. Wong announced during the first colony meeting. They gave us a supercomputer disguised as a planet. The first weeks were brutal. 3 environment suits failed in the first day alone, their occupants saved only by the redundant backup systems that humanity had learned to build into everything after centuries of hard lessons. The metallic snow ate through standard protective coatings like they were tissue paper. The cold was so intense it could freeze carbon dioxide solid. But humans had long ago learned that every hostile environment contained the seeds of its own conquest. The metallic snow is actually an advantage, explained engineer Sarah Chen, no relation to the ambassador, during a project briefing. We can use electromagnetic fields to control it. Better yet, we can use it as a construction material. The particles naturally align in the presence of specific field frequencies. The first human settlement on Glacius Prime wasn't built, it was grown. Using massive electromagnetic field generators, the colonists learned to shape the metallic snow into structures stronger than steel and more conductive than copper. They named their first city Olympus Mons, after the greatest mountain in the solar system, because humanity had always had a flair for the dramatic. But it was Dr. Rodriguez who made the discovery that would change everything. 2 months into the colony's establishment, her research team detected something buried deep in the ice, something that pulsed with power. "There's a network of structures down there," she reported, her holographic presentation showing a maze of regular patterns deep beneath the surface. "And they're active. This planet isn't just structured like a computer, it is a computer. An ancient one, still running after who knows how many millions of years." The Galactic Assembly had meant to exile humanity to an ice ball on the edge of known space. Instead, they had given them the keys to what might be the greatest repository of lost technology in the galaxy. Maya stood at the window of her office in Olympus Mons, watching the eternal storm rage outside. The metallic snow swirled in beautiful, deadly patterns, occasionally illuminated by flashes of lightning that could power a small city. Teams of engineers in advanced environment suits worked on the exterior of the growing city, using electromagnetic fields to weave new structures directly out of the storm. "Send a message to Earth," she ordered her AI assistant. "Tell them we're going to need more ships. A lot more ships." Outside, the storm howled its defiance, but humanity had never been very good at taking "no" for an answer. They had been handed a world that wanted to kill them, and in true human fashion, they had already started renovating. The Galactic Assembly had meant to contain humanity. Instead, they had given them exactly what they needed to become something unprecedented. Deep beneath the ice, ancient machines hummed to life, responding to human presence for the first time in eons. Glacius Prime wasn't just humanity's prison. It was about to become their greatest advantage. The deep below. "We need to go deeper," Dr. Elena Rodriguez announced to the Colony Council, her holographic presentation showing a three-dimensional map of what lay beneath Olympus Mons. "The energy signatures are strongest at about 30 kilometers down. Whatever's down there, it's big." 6 months into the colonization of Glacius Prime, humanity had done more than just survive, they had started to thrive. The population of Olympus Mons had grown to 50,000, with more arriving every week. The metallic snow that had once threatened to tear their ships apart now formed the backbone of their civilization, shaped by electromagnetic fields into structures that seemed to defy physics. But it was what lay beneath the ice that consumed their attention. "The ice isn't just frozen water," Dr. Wong explained, manipulating the hologram to show the crystalline structure. "It's a complex matrix of water ice, frozen gases, and metallic compounds. And it's organized. Look at these patterns, they repeat every few meters, like a circuit board the size of a continent." The decision to drill down was unanimous. They called the project Deep Reach, and it embodied everything that made humanity unique in the galaxy. When faced with kilometers of ice harder than steel and cold enough to freeze air solid, they didn't just build a drill, they built something that had never existed before. "We're calling it the Thermal Lance," Engineer Chen announced proudly, standing before the massive machine that dominated the new excavation facility. "It combines focused plasma streams with sonic resonators and electromagnetic field generators. It doesn't just melt the ice, it persuades it to get out of our way." The descent began on what the colonists had dubbed Day 180, their unofficial marking of half a year on this frozen world. The thermal lance moved through the ice like a hot knife through butter, but what it revealed changed everything they thought they knew about Glacius Prime. At 5 kilometers down, they found the first evidence of ancient machinery, vast networks of crystalline structures that pulsed with dormant energy. At 15 kilometers, they discovered chambers large enough to hold cities, perfectly preserved in the ice. But it was at 25 kilometers that they made the discovery that would reshape humanity's future. It's a database, Dr. Rodriguez breathed, staring at the holographic reconstructions. No, it's more than that. It's a library. The entire planet is a data storage system for a civilization that must have existed millions of years ago. The chambers they found were filled with crystalline matrices that stored information in patterns of frozen light. The technology was so advanced it might as well have been magic, but humanity had long since learned that sufficiently advanced technology was just a puzzle waiting to be solved. Look at this, Dr. Wong pointed to a section of the data they'd managed to decode. These aren't just scientific records. They're engineering schematics. Whoever built this place, they left behind instructions. But the greatest discovery came when they reached 30 kilometers below the surface. There, in a chamber larger than any they'd found before, they discovered something that made even the most hardened scientists pause in awe. It's a quantum core, Engineer Chen whispered, staring at the massive crystalline structure that pulsed with colors that shouldn't exist in normal space. The entire planet is powered by it. That's why the storms never stop, they're part of the cooling system for what might be the largest quantum computer ever built. The implications were staggering. Glacius Prime wasn't just a frozen world, it was a vast repository of knowledge and technology left behind by a civilization that had transcended normal space and time. And now humanity had the keys to unlock it. But with great discoveries came great responsibility, and new dangers. As they delved deeper into the ancient database, they found warnings, records of threats so vast they had forced the planet's original builders to hide their greatest achievements in the ice. "We need to be careful," Maya Torres addressed the council, her face grave. "We're not just finding technology down there. We're finding history. And if we're reading these warnings correctly, there's a reason this place was abandoned." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. They had been exiled to this world by a galactic assembly that thought they were containing a potential threat. Instead, they might have inadvertently positioned humanity to be the first line of defense against something far worse. Deep beneath the ice, the ancient quantum core pulsed with increasing strength, responding to human presence in ways its original builders had never anticipated. Humanity hadn't just found a new home, they had found a responsibility and a destiny that would change the galaxy forever. "Send word to Earth," Maya ordered, her voice firm. "Tell them to accelerate the colonization schedule. And tell them to start building warships. I have a feeling we're going to need them." The metallic storms above raged on, but now they seemed less like a barrier and more like a shield, protecting what might be the greatest discovery in human history. The Galactic Assembly had meant to exile humanity to a frozen prison. Instead, they had given them the key to the galaxy's greatest secrets, and perhaps its salvation. Rising power. 1 year after the first landing on Glacius Prime, humanity had done more than adapt, they had evolved. The quantum core deep beneath the ice had changed everything, and the Galactic Assembly's prison world had become the heart of a technological revolution. "The quantum core isn't just a computer," Dr. Wong explained to the assembled Earth representatives who had made the journey to see humanity's progress. "It's a bridge between possibilities. The civilization that built this place, we're calling them the architects, they weren't just advancing technology. They were rewriting the rules of reality." Olympus Mons had grown into a metropolis unlike anything in known space. The city now extended both above and below the ice, its structures woven from metallic snow and quantum-stabilized ice. The eternal storm that raged above had been tamed, transformed into a protective shield that powered everything from atmospheric processors to gravity manipulators. "Watch this," Engineer Chen said, standing before a window that overlooked one of the new construction sites. She raised her hand, and streams of metallic snow swirled through the air, condensing into complex structures that grew before their eyes. "We've learned to speak the language of this world." The architects didn't just build things, they sang them into existence using quantum harmonics. But it was Dr. Rodriguez's team that made the breakthrough that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Deep in the ancient database, they found something that made even the quantum core seem primitive. They were running from something, she reported to the Combined Earth Colony Council. The architects, they didn't abandon this place. They transcended it. And they left behind instructions for whoever was brave enough, or desperate enough, to follow. Look at these energy patterns, Dr. Wong pointed to swirling diagrams that hurt the eyes to look at. They're not just storing information in quantum states, they're storing it in the fabric of reality itself. Every crystal in the ice sheets is part of a vast network that extends beyond normal space. The implications were staggering. Glacius Prime wasn't just a repository of advanced technology, it was a doorway to something greater. And humanity, with its unique capacity for adaptation and innovation, was perfectly positioned to walk through it. We need to accelerate everything, Maya Torres announced to the council. The architects left these warnings for a reason. Whatever drove them to transcend, it's still out there. And according to these records, it's going to return. The response was immediate and unprecedented. Earth diverted nearly half its industrial capacity to supporting the Glacius Prime colony. The population swelled to over 1 million as the best and brightest of humanity rushed to help unlock the secrets of the architects. New cities grew across the planet's surface, each one a testament to humanity's mastery of their once hostile environment. The metallic storms that had once threatened to tear their ships apart now served as the backbone of a planetary defense network more advanced than anything the Galactic Assembly had ever seen. "They're watching us," Security Chief Marcus Vega reported, showing tracking data of Assembly observation ships at the edge of the system. "They know something's happening here, but they can't get close enough to see what. The storms blind their sensors." Maya stood in her office, watching the eternal storm through windows of quantum-stabilized ice. The once deadly metallic snow now flowed in beautiful patterns, forming and reforming complex structures at the command of human operators who had learned to sing to the quantum core. "Let them watch," she said quietly. "They need to see what's coming. We all do." Deep beneath the ice, the quantum core pulsed with increasing power as humanity learned more of its secrets. Each discovery led to 10 more, each breakthrough opened doors they hadn't known existed. They were no longer just colonists on a hostile world, they were becoming something new. "We found another warning," Dr. Rodriguez reported late one night, her face grave. "The architects, they didn't just leave because of some external threat. They left because they discovered something about the nature of reality itself. Something that changed everything they thought they knew." The holographic display showed patterns that seemed to move even when frozen, geometries that shouldn't have been possible. The architects hadn't just been running from something, they had been running toward something. And now humanity stood on the same threshold. "Send word to Earth," Maya ordered, her voice firm. "Tell them to prepare for Phase 2. The Assembly gave us this world thinking it would contain us. Instead, they gave us exactly what we needed to become something more." Outside, the storm raged on, but now it sang with human voices, a symphony of quantum harmonics that reached into the depths of space itself. The Galactic Assembly had meant to exile humanity to an ice world on the edge of known space. Instead, they had given them the key to transcendence. And not a moment too soon, because in the depths of space, something was stirring. Something that had driven the architects to evolve beyond normal spacetime. Something that was coming back. And this time, humanity would be ready. The return. They came from the spaces between stars, entities of such alien geometry that human sensors initially registered them as errors in spacetime itself. The Galactic Assembly's first warning was the sudden silence of their furthest outposts, entire worlds going dark without a single distress signal. In the Great Assembly Chamber, panic reigned. 3 systems lost in the past solar cycle, reported Representative VYX, their crystalline form clouded with fear. "Our weapons pass through them like they're not even there. Our shields might as well be tissue paper." High Chancellor Zenara's mechanical shell hummed with distress. The ancient records spoke of them, the void dancers. They don't invade spaces, they rewrite them. Reality itself bends around them. That's when the transmission came from Glacius Prime. The hologram that appeared in the assembly chamber showed Maya Torres, but not as they remembered her. Her form shifted and flowed like the metallic storms of her adopted world, human but somehow more. "We know what they are," she announced without preamble. "The architects left us everything we needed to know. And everything we needed to fight them." The assembly chamber erupted in chaos. In just 2 years, the humans they had exiled had not only survived but had decoded and mastered technology that the architects had left buried in ice for millions of years. "Impossible," whispered Ambassador Cloex. But they had made the mistake of using that word around humans before. From Glacius Prime, humanity revealed what they had become. The metallic storms that had once threatened to tear their ships apart now formed the basis of a technology that defied conventional physics. Their ships emerged from the ice world's atmosphere like breaking waves, their hulls woven from quantum-stabilized metallic ice, their cores singing with the same harmonics that powered the ancient quantum computer. "The Void Dancers aren't invading our space," Dr. Rodriguez explained to the stunned assembly. "They're trying to prevent our reality from evolving. The architects didn't run from them, they transcended past them. And they left us the blueprint to do the same." The first battle took place in the Centauri sector. The Void Dancers came with their reality-warping powers, expecting to find the same kind of resistance they had brushed aside before. Instead, they met human ships that phased between quantum states, weapons that spoke in harmonics that could reshape space itself. "We learned to sing to the storm," Engineer Chen's voice echoed across the battlefield. "Now we're teaching reality to sing back." The Void Dancers reeled before weapons they hadn't encountered since the architects themselves. But humanity hadn't just copied the architects' technology, they had innovated, adapted, improved. Where the architects had chosen to transcend and leave, humanity chose to stand and fight. "The architects showed us the door," Maya's voice rang across the quantum network that now connected human ships and colonies. "But they didn't tell us we had to walk through it the same way they did." The battle for the galaxy raged across dimensions, human ships dancing through quantum states, their weapons weaving harmonics that could unravel the Void Dancers' attempt to lock reality into stasis. The assembly watched in awe as the species they had tried to contain proved to be the galaxy's salvation. "We understand now," Maya addressed the assembly as the last of the Void Dancers retreated into the spaces between spaces. "The architects didn't leave us their legacy by accident. They saw us coming. They saw what we could become." The final revelation came from the deepest level of the quantum core, unlocked only when humanity had proved itself ready. The architects hadn't just been another ancient alien civilization, they had been the universe's immune system, evolving to fight the Void Dancers' attempt to freeze reality's evolution. And now humanity had taken up their mantle, not by transcending beyond normal space as the architects had, but by learning to exist in all states at once, physical enough to maintain their connection to life, advanced enough to defend it. "The assembly gave us exactly what we needed," Maya told her people as they began to help other worlds access the quantum technology they had mastered. They thought they were containing a problem. Instead, they were incubating a solution. The metallic storms of Glacius Prime still raged, but now they sang with the harmonics of a civilization that had taken its place among the cosmos' greatest defenders. The Galactic Assembly had meant to exile humanity to a frozen prison. Instead, they had given them the key to becoming something extraordinary. And as the quantum network expanded, as human ships seeded the technology that could defend against the spaces between spaces, the assembly finally understood their greatest mistake: they had assumed that containing humanity was possible at all. The ice world they had chosen as a prison had become a crucible, transforming humanity into exactly what the galaxy needed, not transcendent beings who would abandon normal space, but adaptable, innovative defenders who could maintain the bridge between all states of reality. The architects had evolved beyond the physical realm. Humanity had chosen to master it instead. And the galaxy was better for their choice.